10-year-old Willie is completely obsessed with his video game, Captain Flash Rider. Tucked safely inside his parents' state-of-the-art spaceship, he spends his time defeating digital bosses rather than paying attention to the actual galaxy right outside his window. Even though his parents are real-life space explorers, Willie has zero interest in learning the family trade. When asked to help photograph biological samples, he drags his feet. He's incredibly brave with a controller in his hands, but in reality, he relies on his mom and dad for absolutely everything, right down to his morning dino pancakes. That sheltered existence shatters along with the ship's defensive perimeter. The vessel strays into an asteroid field, and a massive collision breaches the hull. In the ensuing chaos, Willie gets separated from his parents. His dad seals him inside an automated emergency pod, and the ejection sequence fires him into the void, sending him hurtling toward the surface of a completely unknown planet. The stakes are immediately clear. A kid who doesn't know how to survive without his parents is now marooned in an untamed alien wilderness. His only line of defense is his pod's emergency survival unit, a rigidly programmed robot named Buck. The hostile reality of the planet introduces itself fast. Massive local creatures crush Willie's landing pod, destroying his shelter and leaving him and Buck entirely exposed to the elements. To compensate, Buck's programming takes over. The robot calculates every possible hazard and enforces a strict data-driven survival protocol. He expects Willie to remain perfectly still inside a highly restricted safety perimeter while he surveys the terrain. But a 10-year-old boy rarely sits completely still. Wandering past Buck's invisible boundaries, Willie encounters a small, mischievous alien creature. Defying the robot's strict rules, Willie feeds the creature his rations and names him Flash. Buck evaluates the new arrival entirely on utility, instantly classifying Flash as useless for their survival. What the robot's scanners fail to detect is Willie's desperate emotional need for a friend to keep the loneliness at bay. Slowly, they develop a daily routine. Willie scans the local vegetation, separating the toxic from the edible. They discover a sticky, fast-drying sap to construct a secure base camp. Willie starts piecing things together, combining Buck's analytical hazard warnings with Flash's natural understanding of the environment. He takes his first genuine steps toward independence. The ecosystem is unpredictable. Without warning, the sky darkens and unleashes a violent alien hailstorm, sending massive crystalline projectiles crashing through the canopy. To shield Willie from the lethal impacts, Buck deploys his heavy-duty energy deflector. It works, but the immense strain entirely depletes the robot's core battery reserves. With his power critically low, Buck is forced to make a calculated choice. He enters a permanent sleep mode, shutting down his mobility and communication so he can dedicate his remaining energy solely to the distress transmitter. The mechanical guardian is gone. The child who couldn't be left alone in a spaceship warehouse is now completely unsupervised, forced to rely exclusively on his own judgment and Flash's instincts. To wake Buck before a rescue ship flies by, Willie has to execute a terrifying objective. He needs to recover a spare battery pack they dropped earlier, which sits directly inside the territory of massive, hostile predators known as rock monsters. There are no respawns here. The boy who spent his days pretending to be Captain Flash Rider has to plan and execute a high-stakes, life-or-death mission in the real world. Willie and Flash creep quietly into the dusty canyon. Every step carries the risk of waking the colossal stone predators sleeping around them. They trigger their plan. Flash uses his incredible speed as a distraction, darting between the lumbering behemoths to draw their attention, while Willie sets up bait traps to pull the creatures out of position. It works. Willie snatches the battery from the dirt, and the two sprint out of the canyon, narrowly outrunning the rock monsters all the way back to the safety of their base camp. He holds the battery in his hands. This successful extraction proves that he has stopped merely reacting to the hazards of the alien wilderness and has actively learned how to master them. The battery slots in, and Buck's systems boot back up. The timing is perfect. Moments later, an automated search probe finally picks up their distress signal from orbit. A message confirms a rescue pod is landing in less than 24 hours. Willie scrambles to pack his things, incredibly eager to end his exile and reunite with his parents. But as he gestures toward the open hatch, expecting his alien friend to jump aboard, Flash hesitates. The creature stops at the edge of the ramp and refuses to go any further. Looking at the alien jungle behind them, Willie understands. No matter how much they went through together, Earth is Willie's home, and this wild, untamed planet is where Flash belongs. When the spaceship finally reaches Earth, Willie embraces his mom and dad. The kid who left them was completely glued to a screen. The kid who returns knows how to map an environment, forage for food, and rely on himself. A true explorer whose first great discovery was a world he'll never forget.